All right, this is the third time that I try recording this. So let's see if it works finally. I've been trying to make this video for a little while about how I felt like a nobody for a long time. Even though technically, like realistically, I'm probably somebody to my mom, my sister, or my grandma, or my dad. I never really felt like an anybody, and it didn't really feel special. Didn't feel like anybody. When you grow up, you kind of want to be somebody. You want to be somebody that is respected by other people, and more importantly, that can respect themselves. And a lot of us just don't achieve that, or at least we don't see ourselves that way. For a long time, that's how I saw myself. Very recently, that changed for me in a way that I could not expect. You know, I've been going through life, and beginning years of my life up until very recently, I've just either wanted to be somebody, or I've just had to accept that I'm not anybody. And you see YouTube videos of people that have stuff figured out, and you see people in real life that you compare yourself to, and that I've compared myself to, that just know what to do, and they just have their lives so sorted. It looks like their lives are going so well. You'll see it in social media. You think that you're seeing it when you look at them in real life, and they portray themselves as having no problems. And that's not reality, first of all. But second of all, that doesn't, even if you know that that's not reality, even if you know that social media, a lot of people in social media, they choose to portray only positive things to give the illusion that they have a good life. Even still, it's hard to not feel like you're the weird out. So you just go through life thinking that you're a nobody. And yeah, there's nothing remarkable about you. There's nothing to write home about you, nothing to remember. You're just another person, another one of the bunch. But recently, I've gained a new perspective, and I want you to hear me out, all right? I think that it doesn't have to be that you're a super millionaire, you're a super ultra giga successful guy, millionaire at 18, has a car by 16, has a girlfriend by 14. I don't think any of those things are necessarily what matters. Recently I met somebody that I thought I could help, because they were going through situations that I had already gone through, and I knew that if I just gave them some advice and I did my best to not be judgmental, to package it in a way where they could understand where I'm coming from, and they would know the meaning of my words and how important they are. Not kind of like when your parents tell you, oh, don't do X, Y, and Z, and then you don't really know why they're saying it. I was really trying not to fall in that trap. And I said, I tried to help this person because I don't want other people to go through the same things that I have had to go through. And so I did. And I did it for about 3 weeks. And there was no ulterior motive other than trying to see if I could be helpful to somebody. And I ended up being helpful to them. I'm not gonna show what happened because this is a very personal story that's very close to me. But I noticed that I was able to help them after 3 weeks. And when I was little, I told myself, whenever I went through bad experiences, that I wanted to be the type of person that I needed. And all my life not being that guy. I've been the guy that needs the help. I've been the guy that needs the somebody to listen to them. And at this point, I'm 21 and I've gone through enough experiences to where I can actually offer something to somebody that was in my position when I was young. And I can actually be that person that I needed. And it was hard for me to accept because all these years of not being that guy, it's almost like as if I'm an imposter and I'm not really able to help. But I was, and I did. I noticed how it's really hard for me to see myself as a nobody anymore. Because if I'm a nobody, if I was to tell this person, hey, I feel like I'm a nobody. I mean, sure, I could feel that way sometimes. But to this person in particular, the world is just not like that. To this person, I'm somebody. And not only am I somebody, it's just somebody in the background, somebody that doesn't matter in their life. But I've made an effect. And when I say I've made an effect, it doesn't even need to be something huge. But just noticing how somebody needs encouragement and telling them, hey, I think that you can become better if you put some effort. And then just if they put effort, then just acknowledging, hey, I noticed that you put effort on this and I'm proud that you did. Those types of things go way farther than we think. Those are the types of things that I needed when I was younger. I didn't need somebody to be infinitely sorry for me. And I mean, of course, all of us go through things and all of us have our issues. So yeah, sometimes there's reason for somebody to feel sorry about things that happen to you. But if you're too harsh with yourself, then somebody else feeling sorry for you doesn't really help. So instead of that, having somebody that sees potential in you, which is something that when I was younger I craved, and I know that a lot of people crave, even if they don't know it. Getting that is almost life-changing, and giving that is even more life-changing, because literally in my mind I've had to change the person who I see myself as, because I can't be the guy that needed help anymore. Not in the sense that I can't ever, if I have an issue, I can't ever ask for a hand, but in the sense that I can give the hand and I'm able to give a hand. And that's huge. That means that to somebody, I am a somebody. So I'm not a nobody anymore. And when that happened, I noticed that being a somebody doesn't necessarily mean that you're successful and you're making $1 million a year when you're 18, or even $200,000 when you're 30. It doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean that you have the newest car. It doesn't mean that you have a girlfriend and you have sex with every girl that you see. It doesn't mean that you get to sleep with all the girls that you want to. It doesn't mean that you're the most charming guy ever. It means that for some people, you've made their lives better and you make the world a better place. And I noticed last couple of weeks that if you do that, that's enough to be a somebody. And that was a huge realization. And I feel like I wanted to say this message, because there's a lot of people who don't think that they could ever be an anybody. They think that there'll always be a nobody. And I'd like to reject that, because I always thought that I was never gonna be anything but a nobody. But here I am, and I helped this one person, and I've been honing the skills to be understanding, because basically I've had to be, because I've made so many mistakes that I didn't think that other people could make, that I was forced to understand myself. And through being so rough to myself that it was unhealthy, I just had to change it. So I've developed a lot of understanding for people's situations, and through that I've been able to help other people. And I would like to tell you that you can do the same. Even if you think, I don't really have social skills, I don't really understand people, your experience of not understanding people is actually also very common. And connecting with other people that don't understand other people can be a good thing, because you can just by admitting that to that other person, that person can see that, oh, maybe I'm not the only person that's like this. Maybe I'm not the only weirdo, right? That's the language, that's how you think about it. I'm not the only weirdo that doesn't even know how other people feel. I think that's enough to become a somebody. You don't need a whole lot. You just need to make an impact in people. And that will make it enough so that maybe to the rest of the world, you're a nobody, but to them, you're somebody. And maybe that's all that matters. And maybe once you can see that you can have that effect on a stranger, then you can apply that to your life. And then you can start doing that with your family or with friends in real life. I did it with a friend online, because doing it with a friend in real life was too terrifying. That's okay. That's okay too. You don't have to start grandiose. You don't need to go for the stars. You can be imperfect and still try. So yeah, I think that's all I wanted to say. So I'll just complete this level and finish the video.